Hey everyone, welcome to Imperial Podcast. Today we have got a very special guest joining us, Kieton Patel. Kieton has gone from hospitality and retail in Canterbury into flipping houses and building a property empire in Kent and London. We today will be diving into his journey from the grill to the thrill, exploring how he turned his experience into successful business. So please, guys, grab your headphones and let's get into it. Hi, Keaton, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm very good, very good.
Good,
So
good.
for before we start, I'd like to get to know more about you, but I will introduce you more to everyone. So, guys, Keaton has been one of my very, very close friends, my best friend since I don't know 7 years ago, and he's also one of our clients in Imperium Engineering. And Keaton has a very successful journey, moving from hospitality and retail to property developments. So, Keaton, can you tell us more about yourself?
So born and bred up in South London. It's moved to Kent about 10 years ago. Um, we had retail, or we've got retail in Kent.
What made you move from Southwest London, which is a very busy area, very hyped up area, to Canterbury, which is a small city in Kent? That's a very bold move.
Yeah, just a better lifestyle, really. And obviously, starting a family, we didn't want to be in London anymore.
Do you regret moving back to Kent or?
No, it's probably the best thing we've ever done.
Okay,
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't see myself living in London anymore, but it's a good place to visit.
yeah,
You're only about 50 minutes away, so
okay.
yeah.
And as I know, but the guests don't know and the listeners don't know that you have all your life before starting into properties you used to be working in retail and hospitality, which
So
is
just retail,
just retail.
yeah,
Yeah,
just retail. And my parents used to do a bit of uh, like like property on the side,
yeah.
so we've always done a bit of that.
But it was never the core of the business.
Correct, correct.
Yeah, and what
Retail was the core.
and from retail to and hospitality to properties, that is a very big jump because there is a lot of knowledge in between that you didn't have, and I would assume that you learned that throughout your journey.
Correct,
So,
yeah.
what made you do this?
So we wanted to do something a bit different to retail because it's not that challenging.
Yeah,
So when we moved to Kent, I used to go like to London a lot, stay with my friends, etc. So at least twice a week,
okay,
go to shisha places, restaurants and bars, etc. And there wasn't anything like that in Kent, in Canterbury especially, at that time, 10 years ago. So we really opened up our first unit because it was, something we needed.
hospitality. You mean?
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so that's how we got into hospitality, and then it became a business.
Okay, and that is Cetus.
A City Terrace, yeah, in
Yeah,
Canterbury, yeah.
yeah. Okay,
So that's how that started.
okay. And after Cetus, what did you do?
After City Terrace, we uh, we had a franchise as well called Chicken Cottage, which is like a UK franchise. We had that, and then we've just recently opened up another restaurant and bar. So in Canterbury, we've also got a cafe and bar in Canterbury, and we've got the retail.
So yeah, so this is my whole point. So I can see you're very heavily invested in retail and hospitality. So what made you do the jump to move into properties and real estate?
Okay. So property like we've always done on the sideline, uh, you know, actively looking, but we've just in the recent probably 5 years, we've taken some more of a move that to put my effort into growing the portfolio.
And what is your approach with property investments? What do you do? Do you buy to flip and sell, or do you buy to keep? Because with an Indian background, I know Indians don't like to sell at all.
Yeah, we've never sold a property. Yeah,
Okay, why is that?
I think that's just the way that the Indian culture is.
Okay,
Really, probably a bit more traditional.
okay,
But yeah, some are obviously good to flip. Um, you know, it all depends on your yields and stuff like that, really. So, but yeah, we don't sell.
okay. And what do you look at when you are looking at the property? And how do you buy properties?
So auction, and like off the market stuff. I think we've bought one through an estate agent.
And
That
all
was
the rest are
all the rest
auctions.
are auction or off market
Off
stuff.
market.
Yeah.
What makes you do this? Is an auctions risky?
As auctions are risky. So our first auction purchase, we didn't even look at the legal pack. That was our first auction. We didn't even see the property. So on the way to the auction house, we actually stopped in front of the property and pointed at it and said, "That's the one," and we carried on.
Okay.
And yeah, that was probably a mistake. We'll never do again.
Tell us more about this property. What was it and what did you do?
That was it's one dwelling house, but so it was like an old HMO,
Okay.
which didn't have a license. And again, we didn't see any of this stuff, right? Because we didn't see the property. So when we went to the auction, like we bidded for it, we got it, and so it was in Canterbury actually.
Was that your first auction purchase?
That was first auction purchase.
Tell
correct.
us, what was your feeling going there to the auction house for the first time of your life to buy a property that you haven't been inside and you haven't seen it and you haven't seen the legal pack? How did that feel?
It felt quite overwhelming.
Okay.
But we saw the property 2 days later.
After buying it?
It's after purchasing it.
Yeah.
And touch wood, everything was good.
Okay.
But you should never do that mistake in terms of, not looking at the legal
And did the
pack.
property require a lot of works?
So it was an illegal HMO. It was a probate property. We got like the lawful use for a HMO. And yeah, we've converted it into a HMO. It was on the Homes Under the Hammer as well, actually.
Was that your first time to be on Homes Under the Hammer?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, and how did that feel?
A bit fake, but keep looking at the ceilings and the sky. Yeah, so yeah, a bit fake, but
Going back to the property, so the property required a lot of work.
yeah, complete like new electrics, plumbing. We put in
And when you started doing this, how many builders did you work with, and did you have any bad experience with any of the builders? Because I know there is a funny story behind this.
Yes. We did start off with one that we've used previously. He went into financial difficulties. And yeah, we had to sack him off and get so our other builder that we use.
And I think, if I remember, you told me correctly, you paid him approximately all his monies, and he couldn't.
It's not all, about 50%.
But you paid him more than what he did.
Yes, by about £34,000.
Extra.
Yeah.
And how did you get this money back?
No, he's left Canterbury. He's done a runner. He's gone. Yeah, he owes a lot of people money, and yeah, he went bankrupt basically.
Okay. And how did you continue the works?
So we got another builder in that we've used previously. He completed the project. I think it took about 3-4 months after, and it was done. But then COVID hit. So then Homes Under the Hammer couldn't come in time. So we started to rent out the property. And we were waiting for the lawful certificate for the HMO.
So going back to the property in the first one, the HMO. Okay, I heard some rumors in Canterbury that when you didn't get all your money, you had to. The guy offered you, instead of paying you your money back, offered you some kitchens.
So he had a kitchen showroom in Canterbury, which wasn't doing too well. So he owed us about 34,000, as I said. So I kept chasing. He kept answering my calls and stuff. So he wasn't trying to ignore me, but he was just saying that I'm in a bad position, etc., etc. And then, so at the end, so I ordered a kitchen, but I told him to also give me a kitchen.
So you ended up with 2 kitchens.
So I had 2 kitchens at the end. One was about 40 grand.
Yeah.
And the other one, so I can't remember now, but I put the other one actually in my house, and the 40 grand one I put in the annex.
Okay. So you ended up getting a kitchen.
So I put it, yeah.
So it wasn't a full write-off. You got something back.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And Based on this, what is the one thing that if you go back in time for this property with this builder, you would have done differently?
Not trust the word he was saying.
Okay.
So always let them.
So you were paying without doing valuations.
He was giving me fake invoices
Okay.
that he's paid.
Okay.
Like he's paid for windows.
And the windows were not paid.
So he emailed, yeah. It was a
Okay.
fake company as well that he paid.
That's
Yeah.
actually a fraud.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he paid for that, so he's asking for the money.
And that's the whole point. There's a lot of builders out there in the UK that just open companies and close companies every day.
Yeah.
And it's very risky.
even big developers and big like construction firms.
Yeah.
They do that. They don't even pay their staff.
Yeah.
There was one, that big one, I can't mention any names, but there was one big one in Canterbury actually that done a lot of work in London. And yeah, I think they closed when they owed about 25 million.
And they ran away.
Mm-hmm. They're closed and they're rebranded. So the same people as
That that makes it very hard for companies like ours, because then we have when people keep hearing these horror stories, then whenever we are tendering on a project, we have to go out there and we have to be proving that we are a we're a legit company, that we are not going to run away with anyone's money, etc., because people watch all these horror stories on TVs and hear about them, and then just that affects the whole market.
correct, yeah. I mean, you need to know who so as a developer, you'll always have a team that you're working with and that you trust.
And that's what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We work with 2 separate teams, and yeah, it's all good. But people that are just starting off, that would be a big problem because you don't know who.
So I know that during COVID, you were very occupied doing a very nice project.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this project? And I know that no one believed in your idea or believed in your vision when you bought this property. And I think this is very inspiring for all property developers that are starting, that not everyone really need to understand your vision or to understand what you're thinking of. As long as you have a vision and this vision makes sense to you, it doesn't need to make sense to everyone else. So can you please just tell us more about this project?
Yes.
And how you turned something that was so ugly into something that is so beautiful.
So I take it back to one of our retail stores. We had a customer that became a sort of associate. His dad died. He started to run the company and he got into financial difficulties. And I've tried to help him out. And then over the years, I think it just sort of started collapsing, where his house was getting repossessed.
Yeah.
And at the end, so I was actually in New York, and he called me. He said, "I've got 7 days of my house getting repossessed." So I had to quickly, within 7 days, purchase his house and pay off all his debtors and everything. And I purchased the house.
How much did you purchase this house for? If you are comfortable to say.
No, I'd rather not say. Yeah.
Okay.
So I paid off all his mortgage. He had a lot of loans, but I knew, because the house in 2017 was up for sale, and I was getting it at least 40% cheaper than it was.
Okay.
And yeah, so I went in, I purchased it within 7 days. Then so I bought the property to flip it, because it was, I think it was 5,500 square feet with about
one dwelling.
And there's an annex as well, which is about 1,600. And then 3.5 acres it sits on as well. Yeah, so I just wanted to flip it. So I started the project with the so with everyone telling me that no, it's not a good project. So we went to see it. Some people didn't even come into the house because it was that much in the state. There was abandoned cars outside. There was rubbish everywhere. You couldn't even walk inside
the house.
Yeah, the house. It was it was.
Did you feel it was a bad decision when you first bought it?
No.
Why?
No way. So I took my dad there. I took my brother there. Took a few of my cousins there. I think you came as well at one point. You ran away,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. There were
I think everyone did.
the rubbish stacks of black bags
Black
were
bags.
floor to ceiling.
Correct.
Rats
Couldn't
everywhere.
even get inside. Yeah.
Yes. There was, if I remember correctly, there was a swimming pool in the front garden.
Correct.
And the swimming pool was full of rubbish that you couldn't even see the swimming pool.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just over the years, he just went downhill. But I had a vision, but my vision was only to flip it, just to quickly clean it up and do it up and sell it. Probably like the first house we were going to sell, and even that, after time,
You did not
ended
sell.
up keeping, and I'm living in it.
Okay.
So I'll tell you a bit more about that. It was so it was it was 3 stories, but the roof space was quite small. We went back into
Sorry, guys, just 1 second. This project was done by Imperium Engineering because he forgot to say this. So Imperium
No, I haven't finished.
Okay.
I haven't finished. Let me start. I'm just coming to that. So when the I forgot what I was saying now.
Yeah, the house was ground floor, first floor, and second
Yeah.
floor.
So
the loft was very small.
Yeah, so the loft was very small, and then we started construction. So I think we started in 2020.
And
So
during COVID.
during COVID, yeah,
I think during COVID, I think you purchased before COVID,
Yeah,
but you
yeah.
started the works during COVID.
yeah. So during the time I was in New York and I completed on the house, so Imperium Engineering sent out a team to start the landscaping works, and I sent another team there to start doing the clearing out of the property, which we had 40 yard of skips. I think we probably had about 18 to 22 of them, just clearing waste from the property itself. And then when I got back, we started to have a look at the property. We were just refurbing, the property to sell. And then so I fell in love with it. And
I don't think you fell in love at the end. I think you fell in love in the beginning of the project or mid the project.
mid
Because
it was strictly like to flip.
because I remember we did for you 22 different revisions for the designs.
I think there was more than 22.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so mid project we then changed our minds and said that we're going to go back into planning, to add another floor. Kamal hated me at this time because we kept changing stuff on a daily basis. So yeah, then we decided to keep it and we live in it, and we had another floor. And yes, here we are. Probably 2.5 years ago, we completed the project. 3 years ago,
And you're living there right
and
now.
now I'm living there. Yeah,
And you love it.
yeah.
And what about the annex? Did you do anything with the annex?
The annex is a 2-bed cottage at the minute as well.
So
it's like a baby version of the house.
Okay, wow. That's beautiful.
So yeah, that's there as well.
So and then after 2 years the house got signed off.
Yeah, the house got signed off just yesterday.
Okay. And what other projects are you currently looking at? And what is your vision? Because I know you own multiple of property development companies. Some of them do commercial properties, some of them do residential properties, some of them do mix of both. So what is your vision? Or let me say it in a different way. What do you think is the vision for the UK property market in the next 5 years?
So, okay, for the UK, let's talk about the UK first. Yeah. So I personally think that it's a good time to buy if you've got money. It's a very good time to buy.
Why is that?
If you've got money sitting there, because interest rates are high, so the properties are priced, a bit lower.
So you believe that there's a lot of people out there that are not able to pay their mortgages.
Correct. Yes.
And that's why houses are going out for sale at a very cheap price.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So have you been looking at the auctions recently?
I have. Yeah. I was actually on one yesterday, but it went for a couple of them went too high. So.
And that shows that there's property investors are heavily investing in the property market right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are doing bridging loans. I think they're at, at the highest it's ever been, probably.
And do you think this is sustainable?
It is sustainable if you like know that there's like value. You know, the NGDV is, has got something in the pot. Then, then yes. But I mean, some people.
And do you think property market? Do you think the interest rates are going to go down?
Yeah, the interest rates will go down. I think they're going to stay steady for the next 5 months at least, and then they will sort of creep down.
So you think by Christmas they will start going down?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay. So basically, if you have money on the side and you don't know what to do with it, just go invest in properties.
100%.
Because you will not see this prices again for the next 20 years.
Correct, yes. For 10. I'm going to say 10.
Okay.
It's a 10-year cycle, I believe in.
So this is just a part of the cycle.
Correct, yeah. Okay. I mean, this is quite a different cycle. I mean, like we've had like Brexit, we've had the war, we've had COVID, we've had a lot.
And what do you think? How is Brexit impacting the property market? Because 100% there's some negative impact. And how will the property market recover from this?
I mean, obviously with the sanctioned countries as well. So a lot of Russians are taking their money out of the UK, which is not helping, especially London. But in terms of so what was your question?
How do you think that how do you think Brexit have impacted?
Okay, yeah, Brexit. Brexit is not. It's not a good thing, that's happened to the country. Although some people might be against what I'm saying, but I did vote in. What did you vote, by the way?
In.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And we can carry on this conversation.
I mean, I'll tell you my point of view.
Go on.
At the end of the day, the UK is a country where the majority of the working force is immigrants.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep driving the economy at full steam, you cannot be going out of Brexit because the majority of the workforce are from Romania, are from Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
And the majority also of them are from South Europe. You have if you go to the NHS, majority of the doctors are from Portugal, are from Italy, so then you are now stopping all of this. As a company, I used to have over 10 engineers were from Greece and Cyprus. And these were very good engineers. But now what's happening is I don't have access to these engineers anymore. Because if they want to come and work here, they need to be sponsored as a skilled worker.
I mean,
and this is very expensive for.
It's very expensive, like for labor,
and very expensive also for companies.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, our labor percentages have probably shot up about 4.5% since Brexit alone because people are not going to like work for minimum wage in this country.
And also, did you started noticing that a lot of Arabs and Chinese are not going into London anymore as they used to go?
Correct, yeah.
Why is that?
I mean, London's not the same since all of this has happened. Obviously, Chinese and Russians used to invest a lot, like heavily into London. I mean, people are still investing in London, like don't get me wrong, but people that see the value that it's going to be probably, like back pre-COVID.
There's a difference between an investment and an investment. We know that Far East countries and Russians and Ukrainians used to invest tens and hundreds of millions in the London market.
Yeah.
Okay. This is now started slowing down, and also, I was recently in Saudi Arabia, and I was talking to some people over there, some of my friends over there, and they started mentioning that they stopped coming to the UK for holidays as they used to because there's now no tax-free anymore. I was surprised. The UK has stopped the tax-free. So they'd rather go to France and do all their shopping and get 20% back at the airport because they cannot do this now in the UK.
So I don't know if that's correct. I think they've only stopped it for Europeans.
No, for everyone.
Really?
Yeah. So
okay, I'm not aware of that one.
So that is all impacting the whole economy.
I mean, why would a non-UK resident pay VAT on their purchases?
Exactly.
That doesn't make sense.
Exactly. So all these small decisions are actually impacting the whole of the economic climate.
I mean, look, so I always did believe that that after Brexit, when it was a deal that we're out, it's gonna have an effect for the UK for at least 5 years, like all negative, but then the pound will become stronger.
Okay, the pound is affected, but not affected badly, anyways. To be honest.
Yeah, but it will become stronger than it is.
Okay,
And then it was.
And how's that?
Just because the money's going to stay in the country.
Yeah, but the money is not coming to the country. What is the amount of foreign investments that London used to get?
Well, so
It's not getting any more.
So everyone's going to get paid more. As you know, the minimum wage went up.
Yeah, but that is only increasing the internal debt of the country. The internal debt is going higher and higher and higher every day.
I mean, things are just going to get expensive.
The-
It's going to go to the end consumer, right? So, for example, in my hospitality business, so I'm paying my staff more money,
Yeah.
right? But I'm not going. I mean, for the short term, I'm going to hurt my bottom line. But
And you think this will change? You think that your top line will be will increase again by more sales?
well, because of labor gone up.
No, I mean like so.
Because of labor. So that's a good point. So because that people have more money to spend right now, it's so tight. But now, like the money, I mean, you know that the minimum wage has gone up. They're gonna have more money to spend, right?
Yeah.
So top line will go up, you know, at a small percentage.
But you're not also taking into consideration the cost of living crisis.
Of course.
It doesn't really matter.
But in the UK, let's be frank, everyone works, right? So we've noticed a trend. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's just steady. Friday and Saturday, it's always going to be busy because the UK people, they need to go out. We need to go out. We don't work to stay home on a weekend, right? We have to go out. So that's where hospitality just relies on the Friday, Saturdays.
So you make your money on the weekends and you spend it on weekdays.
Of course, some days you make a loss.
Exactly. So that, and this is my whole point. It's not becoming sustainable anymore.
It's not sustainable, no. I mean, you can go like to Dubai and be busy every day. Is a Saturday there,
Exactly.
right? And your labor's probably, you know, single digits.
Exactly. Exactly. So it is not sustainable here anymore when it comes to the cost of living and the salaries, because even if you're paying your stuff higher than what you used to pay a year ago, but the cost of living has gone even more expensive than the difference of what you're paying them now.
Coming back to what I was going to say then,
Yeah.
so the bottom line will get hurt. But then at the end, you're going to have to increase your prices. So you're paying more to your staff, but who's going to get hurt at the end? It's the end consumer. So you can put their wages up. That's not a problem. But, you know, a can of Coke's going to be more money, like, for example, right? So that's, you know, it's like a roll-on effect. You can put the money there. It's going to get expensive somewhere.
I don't see
Someone's got to pay for it.
I don't see how the government is going to fix this. I think the economy right now is in a very bad position, and it is. I don't know how the government can fix this, but all what I can say at the moment is that more people are going into universal credit, and the government has to pay for this, and companies like ours, like yours, like a lot of other companies out there, are struggling to get quality labor and quality staff because there isn't enough out there. And if you want to get from abroad, it is very expensive to get skilled laborers. So I don't think that the UK economy is as strong as it used to be.
Of course it's not.
It is not as easy as to make money as it used to be,
No.
unless you are working.
Unless you've got money.
Unless you're working in properties.
Unless you've got money, and unless you know how to spend that money.
Invest it properly.
Yeah, to invest it properly, basically.
Okay, let me ask you a question regarding this. So, what are your tenants in your properties?
I was just about to talk about that.
Yeah. Are they paying the rent?
We've got a contract with the council.
Okay, yeah, here you go.
And I got a call yesterday from.
So you are a provider for social housing.
It's not social housing, no.
Okay, what type of housing is it?
I don't want to say that.
Okay, just some type of.
I don't want to give anyone ideas, you know. Just that's for between us.
Okay, yeah.
So we have a contract with the council. I got a call yesterday saying that they need another 4 properties, and they need it like right away. and they're seeing a lot of like increasing numbers.
Yes, but then the local authority and the council and the government is bearing this additional costs because there is not enough properties.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, and who's paying this? The taxpayers. And then all goes back again and again and again that the resources and the money is not distributed properly.
Well, the thing is, the UK needs to build. Do you know how many houses it is a year? Sorry,
I think a minimum 50,000 houses per county.
15,000.
50.
50,000.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to say a number because
No, that's what I might be wrong, but but the number was very big.
Okay. So I know the UK has to build a certain amount sort of houses per year. And they're at 50% only. So they're not building enough.
Yes, but I agree with you. And we are talking now about building to sell, right? Do you think with the current climate, first-time buyers are able to buy?
No, because Help to Buy's gone as well.
Exactly. So how people are going to buy? So developers will be building to give this how all the majority of these houses to housing associations. And I will tell you my theory. I think any house between the price of £300,000 and £700,000, this is very hard to sell. And I think it's only above 700 or above a million, it's easier to sell. Because if your household income can sustain for you to buy a house over £1 million, that means that you are actually from the richest 0.01% of the UK economy, or from the richest 0.01% in the UK, and then you will not get really affected. The people who are affected the most is whoever is earning between 40 to 50 grand a year each, because even if they're a couple, their job might be at risk because the majority of these people are employed in SMEs, and SMEs in this current climate are in a very vulnerable position because cost of electricity, how businesses are not sustainable, how how the situation in the economy is not really stable. So I believe that the direction now is going into not it's renting market, not selling market. I think now you will find a lot of institutions buying houses in bulk, and they will be renting them out. And the UK will move like a lot of other European countries, where with their ideology will be only okay. We will be living in rented properties for the next 50, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and you'll get a good tenant that will be staying there because buying right now on a residential mortgage with an interest rate of 5.5% or 6% is actually cheaper to rent.
It is.
So why do they need to go and pay a deposit, big deposit,
When they can wait.
when they can wait and just rent and be paying less than paying a
I
mortgage?
mean, I know a lot of people that have actually done that.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. I mean, like, it is now really the time for property investors, if they can afford to buy in bulk and rent out. Because I think this is the direction where the UK market and the UK economy is going. Because you have seen on Google some stupid schemes going out there, 1% deposit on to go 1% deposit. 1% deposit residential mortgage. I mean, I really believe that this is a very stupid scheme for a lot of reasons. You now go to put 1% deposit for a house that's £300,000. You put £3,000 deposit. If the property market crashes, you will be in negative equity. So the government asked you to go and put £3,000 in the deposit to buy the house. And then in this current climate where property prices are going up and down, and majority of it is going down now, after a couple of years, that your property price goes down by 10%, you will actually be in minus 11%. If you want to sell the property because you cannot pay your mortgage, or if you get sacked from your job and you cannot pay your mortgage, or if you default, you will have to pay 11% from your pocket. When 2 years ago you couldn't pay 1%.
Yeah.
So how is this actually helping anyone? I think now really the people in the driving seats are not really thinking well, and they need to put the people of this country and their interests
I mean, that comes down to Parliament, I guess.
But you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, of course.
If any one of your friends now or your family came to you and told you I'm going to buy a house with 1% deposit, do you think this is a good idea?
No.
They would be paying for the first 10 years only interest on the
But
mortgage.
that's only if the property crashes, right? And if it's off plan, then it's a different story. If it's ready, it's a different story.
You are not talking about the property market that is thriving like it used to be. So it's a
But
very
it's
high
going
risk.
to be.
And
Hopefully.
after 5 years, if you go and get a mortgage on a fixed rate for 5 years, and then you go to remortgage, and you know the first 5 years, the majority of your payments is interest. How are you going to remortgage?
Yeah. You'll be negative.
You'll be negative. They just I mean, like, I don't think this is really how it should be going, especially when you go now to look at the Middle East, and the Middle East is really thriving. I was watching a video on Instagram yesterday in front of Nakhil, the developer Nakhil in Dubai.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there were around 500 people outside at midnight
Queuing up.
because there was a release.
There was a launch, yeah.
Yeah, a launch of a new development on the Palm.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And that shows that foreign investments are not coming to London anymore. Where are they going? To the Middle East.
I mean, I do agree that the Western world is finished, and it is all moving to that part, Dubai, Saudi, India, all them countries. That's where it's going to be at.
So do you think it's wiser now to go and invest over there? Or
Yes, but it's also a risk. So you should, I mean, if you are thinking of, relocating and selling everything or whatever,
will you ever relocate to Dubai?
I couldn't relocate, no, but it's good to have a base there. But
Holidays.
yeah, like just going back and forth, but not full time there. I think you'd be in the same situation, really.
You hate it really because it's very, very hyped up. You cannot live this.
No, I don't hate it. I love it.
Okay.
I love it, but I just couldn't be there full time.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think it's a good time to invest. So it's it's at its all time high. You never know what happens, in Dubai, especially like the bubble can pop and then you'll be back to square one. Same sort of situation.
Let
You
me
might
ask
be
you a
negative
question.
there.
Do you think the UK property market is really is a safe haven for investors?
I reckon it will always be a safe haven.
So you think
We're talking about the UK.
okay, so you mean that if you have extra money, invest here, you might not get the highest returns like the Middle East,
Correct.
but your property will always be a safe
It
haven
will
here,
always be safe.
and you will always
Over there, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know.
yeah.
Sanctions.
A
up
war
to-
happening in the Middle East.
You don't know anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like war, sanctions, like the bubble pops. We know here, it's tried and tested for
I love yeah.
a long time. Right? So that's the only thing. But yeah, if you want to base there, if you want to work there, you don't sell anything here. I mean, if you need some money, then you can sell that.
Can you tell me what? Okay, if now I want to buy properties, okay, and I don't know anything about properties, and I want to come to you for you to guide me in the UK, what do you think is the best process right now for all our listeners?
That's a bit of a tricky one. I would say off-market deals, but then I mean, if people who are first-time like buyers, they're
No, I'm not talking about first-time buyers. I'm
you're
talking
not?
about
Okay.
investors. Because whatever you can do in southeast, you can go and do up north, and up north properties are 1/4 of the price of the southeast.
Yeah.
So it's just the same concept. What is the best concept? What is the best process?
The best process I would say is permitted development.
That's really becoming very popular right now. PDs.
Yeah, since the 5th of March, they eased a lot of the rules for PD. So in Article 4, so you can put in like MA. I mean, say for example, we've just recently just purchased a nursery, and speaking to the architect the other day, we just have to inform the council, under PD rights, and you can turn it into residential like that.
So I think the best right now is
Yeah, like banks,
buy
especially banks.
a lot of high street banks are closing.
A lot of high street banks are closing, so if you know any,
So you think the best process or concept right now, buy commercial and the permitted development, convert it to residential, and either sell it with planning and make
sell
some
it or
money,
build it if you can,
or you have the money to build it,
or convert and sell. I mean,
and
it
after
depends
you
on the
build, refinance and rent it out or sell it.
refinance, take out 75% LTV. You got 25%, but if you need the money for another project and keep going for cash flow purposes, then you sell it.
Okay,
If you don't need cash flow purposes, then just build the portfolio, and then you can do this from Dubai,
exactly.
and then you can come back, sign the paperwork, and go back.
You don't even need to come back sign papers.
Example,
DocuSign right now.
yeah, or power of attorney.
Exactly. Okay.
But yeah, PD I think is probably the best route at the minute. That's my number one, I would say. Number two, I would say is like auction purchases. Obviously, like do your due diligence. See if it's in your area, if you know the areas, and then you can probably do a development, or you can do a refurb or probate or repossession, etc.
Which is the same concept still. Buy it underpriced, do some works,
Yeah.
refinance with the market
Yeah,
value.
so with like auction, or you get probate, and you get some repossessions, like with estate agents, you put in 25%, then you do the works, then you refinance at 75% LTV, take that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you got your money back. But you do your homework prior to doing that.
Even if you don't get your money back today, on the next round of refinance in 5 years, you definitely get your money back.
Yeah, because you are buying at a low price because of the way the market is at the minute. So
But the biggest struggle that a lot of people are finding that they don't get enough yield anymore. Because some of them now are just renting it out to pay the mortgage.
correct, yeah. Talking about yields, so I personally wouldn't touch anything under 10 years. Sorry, under 10%.
Gross or net?
Net.
Okay. But it's very hard to find these deals now.
Yes and no. Yes and no. But yeah, I mean, if an investor wants to obviously like buy a bulk and get 7% return, net, so at this time, and then in the next 4 or 5 years time, property values have gone higher, then yeah,
And then they
then
can
you're okay.
refinance
You can refinance, then
on
take
lower
out your
interest.
money.
On lower interest.
Yeah.
rate.
So
Okay. And have you seen now that there's a lot of new bridging loan banks that are unregulated?
yes,
What's the difference between regulated bridging loan banks and non-regulated bridging loan banks? And how does that help you as a property investor?
some solicitors can't work with unregulated bridges.
Unregulated or
No, with unregulated.
okay.
But a lot can. I mean, I think all can work with
With
like,
regulated.
regulated. Yeah.
Why is that for compliance purposes?
Yeah, I mean, they still do AML and all that sort of stuff on the monies, but it's unregulated, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they have higher rates.
No, the rates are quite competitive between regulated and unregulated. There's a lot of bridges out there at the minute. So as I said, that bridging's probably more at the minute than it's ever been, ever, in the last 12 months.
Okay.
A lot of people are doing bridging loans. People that never even heard about it, they're doing bridging loans.
And you think a lot of investors are opening bridging loan companies?
Unregulated, yes. You need to be competitive. Bridges are around, I mean, they used to be about 0.8%. They're at like 1.05, 1%, ideally, 3% arrangement. There's an exit fee. Some don't have exit fees. So
But doesn't this eat from your profit as an investor?
in terms, yes, it does. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking around at least 12% will go out of your profit straight away, just going with a bridging
I mean,
loan.
1% if you do, it for a 12-month term, which a lot of bridgings are.
Plus, you have
plus you have
2.5%
your-
exit fee and probably 1% acceptance fee.
There's quite a lot out there that do exit fees, but there's some that don't as well. Especially if you've got a relationship with them, they don't do exit fees, and there's no like minimum term. Some bridges do 3 months like minimum term. So if you say 1% a month, 12%, say 3% arrangement fee, then an exit fee, then there's a 5% on average extension fee.
Yeah.
If
So
you
it's
got
better to have a bridge loan company.
I think that's the safest thing.
rather than
Yeah. So
okay. And as a property investor, what do you think about what's your plans for the next 12 months, and how do you think the UK economy will perform in the next 12 months?
we're looking into, so we're still gonna actively like buy properties and stuff, and developments. But we're looking currently into starting a bridging firm actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Just to help out where you
happen.
can.
That's very good news.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's good. It's less headache.
Hmm.
It's less stress. Your money's secure. But hey, let's see how it goes. If
I think everything from outside looks different than actually when you go inside the mix. You will never know how hard it is or how easy it is before actually starting doing your own deals. Because every industry have its own headaches.
yeah,
But
I mean,
but I will tell you something. I always refer to properties as flip flop money.
sorry.
I always refer to properties as flip flop money. You can make money. You can buy properties, refurbish them, and flip them and sell them or refinance them without even needing to be in the country, and you will make higher returns and more profits rather than a lot of other jobs that are actually require from you a lot of brain abilities, brain capabilities. A lot gives you a lot of stress.
Don't get me wrong. The hospitality industry right now in the UK is not great. Um, Pre-COVID, I'm comparing to, um, but yeah, it takes a lot of your time. You have to keep up with the trends. You
Exactly.
have to do a lot of work.
Basically, you are just fighting for survival, not fighting to make money.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of the businesses and a lot of industries in the UK now, that's what they're doing, which is a very wrong concept. You do not start a business to fight for your survival. You start a business to make money.
Yeah.
Because it is very unfair to be taking all the stress just to survive. You
Yeah.
want to take all the stress to actually perform and make money and give your family a better life.
The way that utilities are right now, the way obviously corporation tax hopefully doesn't go up to 25%, but
You never know.
yeah, it's all this stuff. It all eats into your profit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got one site where for the last 10 months I had to pay £88,000 to British Gas, but
It's
just electric.
that is approximately 7.5 grand a month. Wow.
I mean, you tell me, is that sustainable?
No, it's not. That's why I said, yeah. That's why when you drive in central London, and me and you drive together in central London, and let's look at all the prime hotspots in Knightsbridge.
There's loads available.
And you'll find a lot of vacant premises.
Correct.
Because businesses are.
It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
It's just not sustainable. Hence why you see a lot of these empty stores. They're giving you a rent-free period. They're giving you like capital contribution, which like the landlord will pay you 100 grand, like for example, to do a fit out for a retail unit. So in new developments, yeah, but this can be also in Knightsbridge.
Can be everywhere because they'd rather have it rented, at least for mortgage purposes. If a landlord owns there a block that has 30, 40 retail units and half of them are vacant, when it comes it's time for renewing of his mortgage and half of it is empty, the bank will not renew his mortgage.
Yeah.
So they'd rather contribute to
I mean,
you.
they still have to pay like business rates, yeah. And if you got an empty property for over 12 months and it's commercial, you pay 200% business rates.
Yeah.
So you'll be paying double for an empty unit. So hence why you see a lot of pop-ups. What pop-ups do, they don't pay rent.
And they don't pay
They
business.
just pay business rates.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. So you see a lot of like phone shops and vape shops. They're all pop-up really, and they don't pay rent, but they pay business rates.
Going back to how Knightsbridge is empty and how a lot of areas in central London now are empty and there's a lot of vacant premises. Canterbury. Tell me more about High Street.
Canterbury's
High
buzzing.
Street. How?
So out of
So is it really the future is outside of London
yeah,
to live?
yes. it's better lifestyle. You get time to think. You're not surrounded by clowns.
Yeah.
It's safer.
London is all fake, isn't it?
I
Everyone.
wouldn't say London's fake, but the people. I mean, it depends, right? I mean, I was brought up in Wimbledon. It's not that fake there, but when you go into Mayfair and you go out in London, you get a lot of people that are driving these supercars and stuff. But I'm not going to say anymore. But yeah, there is a lot of fake people in London. But hey, I guess that's what a city like London does to you.
Yeah, it just grows into your mind.
It just, it's okay. That person's got, etc. I'm gonna have the same.
And it doesn't matter how do you buy
Doesn't
it.
matter how you get it. Doesn't matter if you've got carpet at home or not. I mean, it's reality.
It is.
So, yeah. So going back to your question, I think outside of London is like where it's gonna be. You get a lot more for your money. But a lot of people are moving out of London. They're building a lot outside of London. Canterbury alone has got the big developers. So I know one road in Broadstairs where every major developer in the UK,
It's building there.
they're building on the same road.
Yes, next to each other.
Red Road, Taylor Wimpey, Berkeley, Barrett, all of these, they're all on that road.
Yeah.
So yeah, people are moving outside of London. One, it's more affordable. It's a better lifestyle. It's safer. There's better schooling. I mean, Canterbury's got one of, like Kings. They've got St Edmunds. Like to start a family is good. Versus, you go in like to London, you don't know what's going to happen to your kid, especially in certain areas.
Completely agreed.
So yeah, that's where I see life right now. It's all up in the air.
It's people in the Middle East think that it's very safe over there, but they want to come and invest here. People here think it is.
I mean, I know,
over there.
I know
and,
some.
and no one knows. Even government don't know. Governments don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you an example. The Kuwaiti family have invested something in Canterbury. Their first investment outside of Canterbury was a part of some halls for a university, which they still got, and then they bought something else on the high street. They paid 17 million for it. I get my hands on it now, or someone can get their hands on it now for about 3 million.
Wow.
Because there's a drainage issue in Canterbury.
Stod March.
But Stod Marsh has been solved, and hopefully, touch wood, by June this year,
developers will start building again.
Will be sorted. Stod Marsh will be sorted. So yeah, I mean, it's a big effect.
Okay, all right. I think Kieton, today was a very nice talk with you. I hope you have enjoyed
thank you very much for your time.
So I hope you have enjoyed our podcast. It was definitely very knowledgeable for us and for all the listeners, and I'm sure there's a lot for us here to try and grasp and try and learn.
Yeah, if any more questions, feel free to contact me. Or
we'll leave your email address in case any of the listeners have any questions.
Of course. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.